Now at noon, for a third time this year, the city of Little Rock will soon be searching for a new police chief. What we know about the sudden departure by the latest chief in less than a minute.
This is the season for holiday stress. I'm Jared Hill with the findings of a new poll and how you can relieve some of those worries.
Plus, a couple of milestones from the entertainment world today as the Rolling Stones prepare to release a new album, while fans say a final farewell to a music icon. Those stories are straight ahead at 12:22. First, let's check in with Nathan Scott for a look at what's happening outside. And I already know, Nathan, it's a bit chilly.
Good afternoon, Karen. Yes, sweater weather in full effect for December 1st. Very fitting as temperatures are into the 40s in most areas. We have some high to middle clouds making their way through. Made for a really nice sunrise across parts of central Arkansas. There's the numbers. 46 right now in Conway, 46 in Hot Springs, 50 in Arkadelphia, 45 in Clinton. Also a little bit of a wind to contend with from the east, about 10 to as high as 15 miles per hour. Does add a bite to the air, so it feels like 43 right now in the capital city. It feels like 40 in Russellville. It feels like 37 in Harrison. Today, more clouds down to the south, more sun to the north. Temperatures topping out into the upper 40s to lower 50s. But say goodbye to the sunshine going into Friday because we'll see a deck of clouds. Along with that, the chance of a few showers. And the rain chances for the next 5 days, they really start to spike up Sunday, Monday, and into a large part of next week. More on the timing of that rain and how much we could see coming up.
Nathan, thank you. For a third time this year, the Little Rock Police Department is losing its chief. Current interim chief Wayne Bewley is leaving tomorrow for another job opportunity. Now, Assistant Chief Heath Helton will take charge as the city conducts a search for a permanent replacement. The historic federal trial over Arkansas's ban on transgender procedures for minors is expected to hit a turning point today. In fact, the state could wrap up its defense with only one witness set to testify. Families of 4 transgender youth and 2 doctors who provide gender-affirming care want a federal judge in Little Rock to strike down Arkansas's ban, arguing it discriminates against young people and intrudes on a parent's right to make medical decisions. The state's witnesses this week have been a psychiatrist and a sociologist. But just yesterday, testimony from 2 people who once identified as transgender, both sharing their journeys on choosing to detransition, describing what both processes were like. Of course, THV 11 has a crew in the courtroom. We'll be providing updates online throughout the day and bringing you the latest tonight on THV 11 News. Former Senator, First Lady, and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will appear at the Clinton Presidential Center tomorrow. She'll join daughter Chelsea Clinton in hosting a summit on women's rights at the Clinton Presidential Center. It's part of a 2-day Women's Voices Summit, bringing activists and political leaders from across the globe to Little Rock. The events coincide with an exhibit on women's rights that opened back in September. The summit and speeches will be live streamed on the Clinton Foundation's website.
First Lady of Arkansas, First Lady of the United States, the incomparable Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Last night, Hillary Clinton spoke at Crystal Bridges Museum in Bentonville to a sold-out crowd. She spoke about a series of issues, including the Supreme Court decision that overturned Roe v. Wade.
The court took that position, obliterating basically the right to privacy. Because the right to privacy, yeah, it's not mentioned in the Constitution, but, you know, neither are AR-15s. And so
the former Secretary of State also spoke about threats to our democracy.
I mean, do you think some of those things, some of the checks and balances should be more codified in a way?
Well, I didn't until it's very troubling to see our elections, which have always been viewed as the centerpiece of our exercise of democracy, being so targeted.
Crystal Bridges Museum in Bentonville will host Congresswoman Liz Cheney on December 19th. President Biden and the First Lady are hosting French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte for a state dinner tonight. But first, it's a day of work as the two world leaders discuss a range of topics of mutual interest. Natalie Brand has that story.
President Biden welcomed French President Emmanuel Macron to the White House Thursday in the first state visit of his administration.
France is our oldest ally, our unwavering partner in freedom's cause.
Against a backdrop of diplomatic pageantry, the two leaders have a full plate of issues to discuss, including continued support for Ukraine in its fight against Russia.
The alliance between our two nations remains essential to our mutual defense.
Face au retour de la guerre sur le sol européen,
as war returns to the European soil following Russia's aggression against Ukraine, and in light of the multiple crises our nations and our societies face, we need to become brothers in arms once more.
During bilateral meetings, the two world leaders will also talk about China and the Middle East, as well as economic and energy cooperation.
We are a real inflection point. Things are changing rapidly, really rapidly. And it's really important we stay in close communication. It doesn't mean that every single solitary thing we agree on, but it does mean we agree on almost everything.
The visit also highlights the mending of the country's relationship following some tension last year when the White House announced a nuclear submarine agreement with Australia, undermining a separate deal with France. One new potential source of tension, President Macron's concerns that subsidies in the Inflation Reduction Act would make American-made electric vehicles less expensive than EVs made abroad.
creating a lot of jobs, which means investing a lot in our economies, and we have to synchronize our action on this issue, and it will be an important topic of discussion.
The White House will host a state dinner tonight, the first one in 3 years. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Prince William and Princess Kate are in Boston now, arriving to much fanfare on Wednesday, the start of a 3-day royal visit to the U.S. The two are here to focus on environmental issues and climate change, and in doing so, showing off the younger generation of the British monarchy. The White House says President Biden plans to greet them tomorrow. The Pentagon is proposing training 2,500 Ukrainian soldiers a month at bases in Germany. According to a U.S. official, the training would include basics of arms operations, the coordinations of ground movements, and the use of artillery. Continuing with world news, there are reports that China is censoring maskless fans at the World Cup amid protests in Chinese cities against the country's strict COVID restrictions. Brandon Lewis from our National Verify team looks into a viral tweet claiming to show Chinese state media blurring fans at 2 games.
While some Chinese citizens are protesting ongoing COVID-19 testing and lockdown requirements, one viral tweet with more than 1 million views claims Chinese state media are blurring out images of all spectators at the World Cup because they don't want Chinese people to know that people in other countries don't wear masks anymore. So let's verify. Did Chinese state media blur spectators at the World Cup like a viral video claims? Our sources are China Central Television, or CCTV, a reverse image search using Revi, an analysis using the video forensics tool InVid, a search of Chinese media coverage of the World Cup, and a video posted to Douyin, which is China's version of TikTok. The video in the viral tweet shows clips with blurred fans from 2 matches, USA against Wales and the Netherlands versus Senegal. Using a reverse image search, we were able to find a video posted online by CCTV that shows the same gameplay without any blurring. Other state-run news agencies like Xinhua, ChinaDaily.com, and China Global Television Network have also not blurred images of spectators in their coverage, including their social accounts. So, no, China state media is not blurring spectators at the World Cup like a viral video claims. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
This is generally supposed to be the happiest time of the year, but it can also be the most stressful. We'll have tips to reduce your holiday stress coming up in about 6 minutes. Nathan?
And we got lots of color out there, seen from our view 11. The trees really showcasing plenty of color right now. A little bit of a surprise because it looked like earlier during the fall season they were just going to be brown, but they certainly changed their mind. Now, going into the weekend, we do have a 50-50 weekend in store with dry weather for Saturday, but Sunday, it's going to be a much different season as rain moves back into the picture. I'll let you know how long the rain will be sticking around coming up next.